Boot fans, what's going on, and welcome in. Right here in front of us today we've got the Blackout version of the evoPOWER, the latest power boot release from Puma. Pretty cool looking boot. Before we get cracking on these, I'd appreciate if you guys could give me a like down below or subscribe. Use the subscribe button that's right here so you can stay updated on all the latest videos that we release. This boot is an absolute classic, Blackout design. Love what Puma have done with it. It's a leather upper, as you can tell. Puma still use the evoPOWER that's found in the synthetic version of the evoPOWER. This leather just follows the contours right down along. There's some additional stitching. From the inside you can tell it's still well padded. This evoPOWER sits right across the strike zone all the way down, and also sits in on the tongue, which makes these an ideal control boot, ideal boot for striking shots. Let me just give you a quick visual 360. I mean, you can't beat a classic heritage look like this. One thing that's super unique about these boots is the fact that Puma don't have any specific markings on the boot. There is one cat that sits right here on the lip of the toe, but other than that, I mean, you've got your evoPOWER hit here. There's no cat on the side. There's no Puma signs, same with the tongue, which makes these very, very unusual. Normally we don't see companies do that. It shows how much confidence Puma have in these boots, that they know people will appreciate the performance. So that's a really cool addition. Sole plate, you get that GSF, the gradual support system on the sole plate. Basically what that is, if I turn the boot sideways, it allows the boot to flex in the opposite direction, which is pretty cool. Adds an extra dynamic to the boot. Again, I'm going to bring in the synthetic version right here. This is the ombre blue version. This has the same GSF in the sole plate, and it flexes, but it flexes a lot easier, and that's primarily because of that adapt light upper that's obviously different to a leather. And as you can tell, I'll give you a quick demo. You can see that it kind of stretches. Can you see that material stretching through the middle? So obviously that's not going to be the same in the leather version. I mean, the leather is going to stretch over time, but it's not going to give you that same immediate stretch, and that's why GSF system is in place, but it's not as effective. In terms of performance between these two boots, just to point out, I think I prefer the performance of the synthetic version, primarily because of the adapt light is such a good synthetic. It's pretty soft and supple. As I said, it stretches nicely and it works well with the GSF, but visually you cannot beat the look of this boot. It's so classic, so pristine. I like what Puma have done with it a lot. Also to note, on the side, you'll notice on the synthetic version it has the EverFit cage symbol on the side, and there's where the cat would exist. And on the leather version it also has the EverFit cage system in place. It's going to add a little bit extra durability to your boot, keeps it in place, adds some lateral support, so it's pretty cool. Just want to bring in the predecessors to the evoPOWER, which is number one is the power cap, but here's one of the previous power cats that was released. Puma kind of used this rubber compound in the PST, as they call it, the Puma 3D PST zone, and they brought in different types of performance from these two separate materials. This one was a little bit softer, this one was a little bit harder, and that was to help your striking. I think that this boot is more like the original power cap, which we have right here. And although that also brought in that rubber compound, you know, the one thing Puma worked on with these was they worked on using the upper's performance for itself, in that, you know, that tiered design was what gave it the additional element rather than the material that was in it. And as you can see from this current evoPOWER release, again, it's got to do with the evoPOWER in the upper along the strike zone. So they're using the tiered system, and they're using that paneling and the texture in the boot rather than bringing in that external component. So if there was any boot that I think that this kind of correlates to, even though they're different in weight, sole plate is different, you know, primarily everything else is different, I think the concept, Puma has gone back this way, this direction, and that's why they've kind of removed the power cap, which was a decent release, but overall not as widely regarded as the original power cap release. So there you have it. To finish up, guys, please leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think of this Blackout design. Do you like the fact that Puma has not left any markings on the boot? And which version would you prefer, this synthetic or the leather? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, thanks for watching.